lot of people don't even get around to doing what we're going to talk about today, which is opening up an ABLE account. This is finally an option for people with disabilities to put aside money and start to actually have financial independence. What a thought. Shamefully, I admit this, that it's just been last year in 2021 that Dan and I finally got around to opening one for each other. I don't know why it took me this long. I think it's because there was a lot of misconceptions I thought I wasn't eligible, but we're totally eligible. So, So we're going to go into the details about how you may be not sure whether you would apply if you're in the United States. Sorry guys, outside of the United States. But likely you would because it would apply for people even if they're not receiving government benefits. Okay, so ABLE stands for the Achieving a Better Life Experience ABLE Act of 2013. I really love the name because that's all what the Ginchiest is about. The main website is ablenrc.org, National Resource Center. They have all the information there. They go into the history, how to get started, how to decide what you're going to include in your account. So this account allows you, it functions similar to, I would say, a 401k or a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. They allow you to save a certain amount every year. Last year and likely this year has been $15,000 max a year that you can put aside in your ABLE account. Now, I don't know about you, but not a lot of disabled people got 15 grand to be able to put aside. And so I think that's really the big caveat, is that this isn't really going to directly help you become more financially independent. It is meant to supplement benefits given to people with disabilities. So what's important here is that it grows tax-free. You can save this money and it will not be accounted for when you're being considered for Medicaid, SSI, or SSDI. They don't look at your ABLE account. So that's an important thing to know, because prior to this, there was no way that an individual with a disability could have his or her own accounts, savings, investments. Now, even the Act recognizes, so this is from the website, this law aims to ease the financial strains faced by individuals with disabilities. So I'm telling you, we've been talking about this for months, okay? It's expensive to live with a disability, especially if you rely on personal care assistance. And you're not getting a lot of these benefits. And then that's not even including all the other related expenses, conversions for vans, lifts. The Act is recognizing, at least in some small part of politicians' minds, they recognize that geez, people with disabilities, they have a lot of expenses, and so why don't we pass this law and so that they can start saving? It's the step in the right direction, but I think what would be more powerful is if we were employed in jobs that would allow that financial breathing room to be able to to save $15,000 a year. All right, so getting back to how you can open it, because, savings is so important, even if it's just $20 a month. So important. So on this website, they have a lot of resources. The one that we went to right away was the Get Started menu.
There are two requirements for having an able account. One is you became disabled before you were 26.
So the other one is, if you already are receiving SSI and or SSDI, then you automatically qualify. If you don't receive those, you can still open up an ABLE account as long as you have a doctor's note that describes having a disability according to Social Security's definitions of a disability. Okay, are you with us here? Are you with us here? But you know what was really kind of crappy about the first requirement? What do you think is really crappy about that first requirement, Dan?
Having
No. The fact is, what if somebody was in an accident, okay? They went diving on some vacation, and they were in an accident when they were 27. Not eligible, okay? And that's another thing that's... It is poopy. I mean, that is a requirement that is being heavily contested, and people are lobbying and trying to get the age restriction changed because it is clearly just illogical. They're thinking about changing it to 40 something, like mid 40s. I don't think having an age restriction makes any sense to begin with. I really don't. But I will say that the setup process was fairly straightforward and quick. I was surprised. I thought it would take forever. I thought I'd be here a couple hours in front of my computer. We're in front of our computer right now. But I wasn't. I set up Dan's and mine within maybe an hour, so there's hope. Where I would say under the Get Started tab to go to first would be either the search by ABLE program features or view all state programs. I like to see everything all at once and then zero in on what matters to me most. Here's the thing about the ABLE account. Not every state has one. Most of them do. And then sometimes there's a residency requirement. So some states won't allow anyone else besides residents of that specific state to open up their ABLE account. But I would say for the ones that have the best features, if you will, and highest investment limits are those that allow you to open it up no matter where you live in the country. And so, ironically enough, Pennsylvania ended up being the one that we ended up going with. So when you scroll down, you can click on the features of that particular state's ABLE account. And it goes into what are the minimum contributions required to open up one. Usually it's $25. Is there a fee? Yeah, there are fees. There's always fees when you're investing. And you could even set up a debit card, a checking account type thing, when you open up this account, think of it again as like a special investment / savings account. You can choose how you want to allocate the money. You, of course, can get a tax deduction based on the amount of money that you did end up at the end of a tax year contributing to the account. And so that's exciting. Another thing that you want to keep in mind, and this is something that isn't state specific, but it's across the board, is that if you're working and your employer doesn't have a 401k plan, or maybe it doesn't have very good features, you can add even more money to your ABLE account. If you choose to do this for PA and the rest of the continental United States, you can add another $12,880. Now, I don't know about you, Dan, but I don't have an additional 12 grand or almost 13 grand to sock away in an ABLE account. But hey, maybe you have a really good paying job. And then the other thing that I looked at were the fees, and then the different types of investments and their providers within the account. The southeastern states, they had pretty low account limits. For instance, let's see, Alabama, $475,000 as opposed to over $500,000 you could contribute over the life of the account. So things like that. Texas, let's see how much Texas was. Texas is decent, 500 grand. So that wasn't oddly low. Arkansas, 366,000. So it really does vary according to the state. So we ended up with Pennsylvania, and we're starting to save. And I hope that this information inspires you to feel a little bit more hopeful about your financial future and feel as though you have a little bit of control or a bit more than what you thought you may have had.
Sorry.
Oh no! Well, it's a lot cheaper to live in Arkansas.
Oh.
But still, you should be able to save 500 grand if you so wanted to. Just saying.
Hope you enjoyed our
You gotta get down.
table episode.
You got an eyelash. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Yeah, an eyelash, okay? Yes. We hope you enjoyed our Fable episode, and I don't know, are you part of the Ginchiest family? Because you really should. If you enjoyed this episode, consider no, don't consider it. Just do it. Subscribe, okay? Hit the bell, you know the routine. You just gotta know about the Ginchiest, because after all, you're the Ginchiest.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Changed all my life.
I did.
Cheers.
Oh, brother.